One of the easiest ways to obtain residency here in Serbia is by purchasing property. Now, one of the things that you might want to consider when purchasing a property is the things that people don't tell you about when it comes to purchasing property. And that's what we're going to get into this video, because there are some things that look appealing but are actually not that good once you start peeling back the layers, and some things that are, questionable, but they're actually the better opportunity. So if you're going to want to buy property here in Serbia, you're going to want to listen to this video. So many people have considered moving to Serbia by purchasing real estate and obtaining residency. Serbia is becoming one of the major hotspots in all of Europe, not only because of the food, the culture, and not being part of the EU, but the relatively affordable real estate prices that people still can obtain here in Serbia, depending on your location. But when it comes to purchasing real estate, there are a number of things that you're going to want to consider that many people won't tell you about, because they just simply want you to purchase and make that sale so that they can either earn that commission or say, hey, that property is gone, it's your problem now. And that's something that I'm trying to prevent anyone from doing here in Serbia. And that takes me to the first topic here, that the problem is that a lot of people look for that cheap piece of real estate, but it's actually not cheap in the long run. So yes, you can buy property here in Serbia for under $50,000. However, is it technically sound? Is there things that you have to look for that you need to fix before you move in? Is it move-inable? Is it functionable? Just because you purchase a property here in Serbia does not mean that you're going to get residency. If it's a piece of property that is absolutely falling down and deteriorated, and it's not livable, you're not going to be able to obtain residency, because they want you to purchase something that you're going to be living in and that is actually livable for human beings, not just for rats on that matter, should I say. Now, you can purchase an apartment, it doesn't have to actually be a house, but finding something cheap does not mean that it's going to be actually a benefit for you. So you might want to up that price tag in order to purchase that property. The next one is foreign ownership. Most people from other countries can purchase property here in Serbia as long as their home country has reciprocity laws in Serbia, or with Serbia, should I say. If your country does not have reciprocity laws with Serbia, then you are not going to be able to purchase property here. And so you want to confirm that your country has that agreement with Serbia before coming here and looking to purchase a piece of property, spending money, and then finding out, oh, listen, my country actually doesn't have that law and I'm not able to purchase property. What's the next option? And this is a benefit of actually signing up for a consultation with us here at Relocation Serbia and finding out what is the best path for you. And a lot of the people that come from the United States, from Canada, from should I say Australia, Western Europe, those people are typically pretty safe. I'm not saying that laws don't change. This is not legal advice by any means, because the laws do change, and I'm not a lawyer by any means at all. We work with a lot of lawyers, but I cannot give legal advice, just to clarify here also. And so that's something that we need to clarify on our consultation, or you can do this on your own, but there's a lot of misinformation out there as well. Now, the next topic I want to touch on is that there's a hidden truth when it comes to ownership and residency. Just because you purchased a property here in Serbia does not mean that you automatically get residency here in Serbia. Residency and purchasing a property are two separate processes. You're going to purchase the property first and then apply for your residency. And there's a pile of paperwork for both scenarios that need to be combined when you apply for your residency process. And that information we can provide to you once you take us upon our services. A lot of people like to reach out to us and be like, hey, what are the documents we need for X process? We don't give out free information here. We are a consulting company, we are a relocation company, and we will provide that information when the time is right, when our services are requested, and when we are legally bound to help you as clients. Otherwise, we can't give you actual advice because we need to work with everyone on a case by case basis. And so, if you are purchasing property, understand that residency is a complete different process, and it's not a one process and done type of deal. Now, when it comes to renovations and bureaucracy here in Serbia, that's a whole nother level here. When you're purchasing property and you want to do renovations, you have to understand that you need to look at permits, you need to look at zoning bylaws, you need to look at utility uh, and what their rules and regulations are as well. One of the things that you need to look for when you're purchasing a property here in Serbia, and that's what our team of lawyers here does at Relocation Serbia, is check the deed. Make sure that the property is actually legalized, that what you're purchasing is actually what is in the cadastre, and that you're not buying an actual illegally built property, that you have right away into your property. And also, when it comes to renovations, you need to make sure that you hire tradesmen that'll actually do the work, that are actually qualified tradesmen. And one thing that you need to know here is that the tradesmen here in Serbia do not work the same way as tradesmen in the country that you are perhaps coming from. They may show up at 9 and leave at 2. They may show up at 9 and have a couple beers before they get started and leave at 4. But I promise you that you need to also pay tradesmen here in Serbia what they're worth. The saying goes around here in Serbia that there's not a lot of tradesmen. Well, you can say that for any country. There's not a lot of tradesmen that want to work for, what I call peanuts. They want to get paid an honest wage. If there's a huge demand for tradesmen, like there is here in Serbia, they're going to ask for their money and their worth. And I don't blame them, especially coming as a ex-electrician myself. I build out a premium for my services. Some people took me on because they wanted to negotiate on price. I don't negotiate on price. I negotiate on services, and that's how we work. Is we provide an excellent service, both as my construction company did and here at Relocation Serbia. Are there other cheaper options? Yes, there are cheaper options out there, but you're not going to get the quality and the full legitimate process done until you pay the proper people the correct amount. So don't cut corners when it comes to hiring tradesmen, and make sure that you have all the permits and zoning bylaws, and especially when it comes to having someone scan your property, or surveyors coming out, making sure where your property lines are, and so that you're not encroaching onto other people's property lines as well. The next one that you're going to want to know about is that in some areas in Serbia, that foreign buyers have caused huge inflation, and so a lot of the prices here are artificially inflated in Serbia because people are trying to target foreigners. And this is something else that we help people with, is that once someone calls a potential seller about a property and they find out that you're a foreigner, that price is going to double, triple, sometimes whatever it might be. But the thing is, if you get someone from our team who is a Serbian speaker, of course, then what we do is we have that individual call the seller in Serbian and talk about that property in the native language. And so it's a lot harder for that seller then to pull the wool over their eyes to inflate the price, and so that you're getting a better deal by using someone who's a native speaker and then trying to reach out on your own. And I'm not trying to say that it's not possible for someone to go out and find a property and get a great deal as a foreigner. However, it's up to you as to what you decide. I wish you all the best if that's something that you wish to do on your own. But if you're looking for the safer way and not to be taken advantage of and have all the paperwork checked out and registered in your name legally, then you might want to hire some professionals to be in your corner and look out for your best interest and not the seller looking for it out for their best interest. And so when it comes to all of these things, what should you do best? I would highly advise that you work with someone who is a professional in these fields, someone who has the connections, who has gone through these processes multiple times, who lives in Serbia, that knows the prices, knows what the do's and do nots are, and so that you are safe, and so that you, as someone who is looking to move to Serbia, has that process a lot easier. One of the things that we just finished working with one of our most recent clients is that they're looking to purchase a property and just outside of Novi Sad not too long ago, and they didn't hear about us until they actually initiated the process with the buyer of the house that they're purchasing, and that they said it was a complete nightmare. The seller was in Germany. They were here in Serbia. The sellers, they didn't want to send any information over. They lied about what parcels were part of. They didn't want to work with their lawyer or any of that. And they said if they didn't already get into it so much deeper, or they didn't go in as far as they did with that deal, they would have said no right off the get-go, because these sellers made it that much more difficult for them than they ever thought possible. Then, just signing the paper, sending the paperwork over, and getting it done. And you have all sorts of people that you will come across here in Serbia, people that are living in Serbia, people that are not living in Serbia, and all these scenarios you have to take into consideration when purchasing that property. And if you have any issues when it comes to legal matters, purchasing property, so on and so forth, when it comes to moving to Serbia, feel free to reach out to us at relocationserbia.com, and we'd be happy to be of service. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.